Hey folks, today we are going to make a stocking decoration that we can hang up around the holidays. It doesn't particularly matter to me which holiday you choose to celebrate by hanging up a stocking. You'll notice I've got Christmas and Halloween both represented here, but if you want to make one just for a regular old Tuesday, that is completely your prerogative. But in order to make the pattern that you will need in order to create your stocking, you're going to need some supplies. First, you are going to need some paper. I really like to use wrapping paper when I'm creating a pattern for a project because a lot of the wrapping paper that you will get comes pre-printed with 1x1 squares, which means I have to do a whole lot less measuring. However, if you want to just tape a couple of pieces of notebook paper together and then use a ruler, you are totally fine doing that. You can use computer paper, you can use construction paper, any kind of paper that you've got that's junk paper that's laying around. It's just my personal preference that I like to use wrapping paper for these kinds of projects. You are also going to need a pair of scissors. Any regular old pair of scissors will do just fine. No special scissors are needed for this. If you have purchased fabric shears, do not use them to cut out pattern pieces. Fabric shears are for fabric only. I like to have some tape when I'm doing pattern making just to help hold everything down. You are going to need a pencil, and I recommend also having a marker. However, if you have to pick one, go with the pencil. So that way you can alter your decisions. You can erase your lines and you are not committing to anything on your first go, but I like to work with both. Finally, you're going to need a sock. A tube sock. Regular old tube sock is going to be completely fine, and we're going to use that to help determine the shape that we want our stocking to have. To begin, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that you are going to do is set up your paper so that it's going to be easy for you to work with. So if you are using several sheets of construction paper, computer paper, notebook paper taped together, then you can just sort of lay them out and then tape out your corners. If you're doing like me and using wrapping paper, but you're going to want to unroll them and then use some tape. I've already got some pre-affixed up here. Use some tape to help hold these pieces in place. And that way your paper won't try to shift around on you and create difficulty where no difficulty is needed. Voila! I've set up my paper, my corners are taped down, and this is going to leave my hands free for the rest of this project. Now, the next thing I want to do is mark out roughly the size that I want my stocking to be. Just for the sake of interest, here is my actual Christmas stocking. My grandmother made this for me many years ago, and you'll notice some things about the shape and the dimensions of this. If I were to measure out the Christmas stocking from the bottom of the toe to the opening and then the opposite direction, what I end up getting is 16 inches this way and 8 inches this way. So I have approximately if I were to make this a rectangle, it would be a ratio of 2:1. So whatever your measurements are going to be for your stocking, you want to make sure that it is twice as long as it is wide. I would also like to point out something about the shape of the toe area of the stocking compared to the shape of the sock, the tube sock that I'm using. You'll notice that the distance from the heel of the stocking to the toe is a lot shorter than the heel of the tube sock to the toe. Now, the tube sock is just sort of there while we're drafting our pattern to help us create an idea of the shape we want. And what you can do is fold the foot over until you get a shape for your stocking that you're more happy with. So that's a really easy way to take a tube sock and create sort of the general idea of the shape that you want for your final product for your stocking. So I kind of like that, just like that. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing, something kind of like that. I can adjust the angle of the foot there if I want to. Actually, that looks pretty good, I think. I think that's kind of what I'm going to go with. So that was just for the sake of comparison. So what we're doing basically is taking this shape and scaling it up to get something that we can put presents and treats, etc. in. I'm going to start by mapping myself out an area that is twice as long as it is wide, and just to sort of keep with the shape of the real stocking, I'm going to go with something that's 9 inches by 18 inches. So I'm going to start up here at the top of the paper, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches. And I'm going to just mark that. And then I'm going to come this direction and measure out 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I'm going to mark that. And if you will give me just a moment, I am going to then complete my rectangle of space here. There. Now, it's going to be pretty faint on camera, but just trust me that I have measured 9 inches by 18 inches, just to give myself a little room to work with. Now I'm going to take my sock, my tube sock, fold it into the shape that I want, and I'm going to try to find where the center of this shape would sort of be. And from there, I'm just going to sort of eyeball sketch out a shape for my stocking. So let's just sort of see what that would kind of look like. And maybe start about here. And right now, all I'm doing is sort of lightly sketching in a shape to see if I'm going to like it. I can change my mind later. Now I'm going to take my sock away and take a look. That's not bad. I like the shape that I've got going, of like the angle that I've got going. However, in evaluating this, I think I want the toe to be just a bit bigger. So that's one of the great reasons to use a pencil instead, and then follow up with a marker after the fact. I can take a look at my pattern that I'm making and make some adjustments in very faint pencil, and then go back and darken it all up. So what I think I do want my toe to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to come out maybe 1 more inch and just sort of keep following what I made before. I like that better. Personally, I like that a lot better than what I had going before for the shape of my stocking. And I'm just going to sort of finesse my lines a little bit until I'm really, really happy with it. I think I like that a lot. When I'm done, what I'm going to do is fold over the top. So actually, when I'm done with it, it's going to be a bit shorter looking. So I'm going to make a mark just to give myself a chance to look and see if I'm going to like that when it's done. And I do. So now that I have sort of penciled in my pattern, I'm going to go back in with my marker and darken up my lines. And they do not have to be perfect. You do not have to worry about creating, I've heard drawing teachers refer to this little method of doing these short strokes as doing hairy lines. And there are some who really discourage hairy lines. For my money, we're going to cut this anyway. So make your lines as short as you need to be confident in putting these dark marks on the paper. I am going to go ahead and mark that place where my fold over is going to be. That's right there. So when I am done with this stocking, I will fold right there. That is one of the hazards there of the tape. I will fold right there and have a stocking that looks something like that. Am I happy with it? I think I am. I think I am very happy with it. All right. So now that I have marked everything, the next step is to cut out my pattern. You are going to cut this off and save it as a separate piece of stocking. So let me cut this out and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so that gives me my Christmas stocking pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Like so. So now I have my 2 pieces for my stocking project. My pattern pieces are cut out and ready to go. The last thing that I need to do is take a nice dark marker and I'm going to label both sides of both pieces as side A and side B. So this is going to be side A. Now I'm going to flip my pieces over and label them side B. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My 2 pieces of my stocking pattern are cut out, they're labeled, and now I'm ready to move on to the next step in my stocking project.